Google has just launched a program that offers 500 million Windows users, those locked out of Windows 11 by Microsoft's strict hardware requirements, a completely free path to Chrome OS Flex. This is not a rumor. This is not a beta test. This is Google's official Chrome OS Flex Enterprise program announced in early 2026, specifically targeting the massive pool of abandoned Windows PCs that Microsoft has deemed too old to support. These are not ancient machines. We are talking about computers purchased in the last 5 to 7 years, laptops and desktops with Intel 8th and 9th generation processors, perfectly capable hardware that runs modern applications smoothly. But Microsoft's TPM 2.0 and CPU requirements have left them stranded, ineligible for Windows 11 updates and security patches. That is 500 million users worldwide suddenly facing a choice between buying expensive new hardware or running an unsupported operating system vulnerable to every new threat that emerges. Google saw the opportunity and moved fast. Chrome OS Flex installs on these machines in minutes, breathes new life into the hardware, and comes with Google's promise of security updates through at least 2030. It is free to download, free to use, and designed explicitly for businesses and consumers frustrated with Microsoft's upgrade barriers. This is not just a software update. It is Google positioning itself as the rescue service for Microsoft's biggest self-inflicted wound. In this video, I will prove exactly how Google blindsided Microsoft. With this move, why it targets those exact 500 million abandoned users, and what it means for the future of personal computing. You need to know this now, because if you are among those affected, or if you manage IT for a business that is, this changes everything about your hardware decisions going forward. Microsoft's official narrative around Windows 11 has always centered on security and the future of computing. When they announced the new requirements in 2021, the company positioned TPM 2.0 and modern CPU support as essential for protecting users from advanced threats. The messaging was clear. Older hardware simply could not meet the security standards required for the next generation of Windows. From Microsoft's perspective, this was about raising the floor. They claimed that without these hardware features, Windows 11 could not deliver the same level of protection against kernel-level exploits, firmware attacks, and the sophisticated malware that targets enterprise environments. TPM 2.0 in particular was presented as non-negotiable, a hardware security module that handles encryption keys, secure boot, and attestation in a way that software alone cannot replicate reliably. The problem Microsoft said they were solving was the growing attack surface of aging PCs. Billions of Windows devices worldwide, many running outdated versions without regular patches, created a massive vulnerability ecosystem that cyber criminals exploited relentlessly. By drawing a hard line on hardware, Microsoft argued they were forcing a necessary modernization, protecting users who might not upgrade on their own. Chrome OS Flex enters this narrative as Google's direct counterpunch. Launched initially in 2022, but dramatically expanded in 2026. With enterprise-focused features, Chrome OS Flex is a lightweight operating system that boots from a USB drive and installs on almost any Intel or AMD PC from the last decade. Google markets it as the simple, secure alternative for businesses looking to extend the life of existing hardware without the compatibility headaches of Linux distributions or the security risks of unsupported Windows. The core appeal is Chrome OS's architecture. Everything runs in the cloud or in a sandbox browser environment. Local storage is minimal. Automatic updates happen every few weeks without user intervention. And Google commits to supporting verified hardware for a full decade. For the 500 million Windows users whose machines fail, Microsoft checks Chrome OS. Flex becomes the free escape hatch. No new hardware needed, no complex setup. Just download, install, and go. Security researchers and IT analysts who have tested Chrome OS Flex extensively have uncovered both its strengths and its strategic brilliance against Microsoft. Independent benchmarks from organizations like AV Comparatives and Enterprise IT Reports show Chrome OS Flex outperforming legacy Windows 10 in vulnerability patching speed updates deploy within days of discovery, compared to Windows' monthly Patch Tuesday cycle that often leaves systems exposed for weeks. What researchers found most compelling was the isolation model. Unlike traditional Windows, where applications have broad access to the system, ChromeOS Flex confines nearly everything to web-based containers. Local file access requires explicit user permission. Malware that might spread laterally on Windows finds itself trapped in a single tab or extension. A Princeton University study on ChromeOS security architecture confirmed that this design reduces the effective attack surface by over 70% compared to desktop Linux distributions. But the real genius lies in Google's hardware verification process. While Microsoft blacklists specific CPUs, Google maintains a compatibility list of thousands of models, including many Intel 8th Gen systems that Windows 11 rejects. Testers at ZDNet and Enterprise IT blogs reported successful installations on Dell Latitude models. From 2018 HP EliteBooks from 2019 and Lenovo ThinkPads that Microsoft abandoned. Boot times dropped from 45 seconds on Windows 10 to under 10 seconds on Flex. Battery life improved by 20 to 30% on tested laptops due to the lighter resource footprint. You probably think this is just for schools or cheap business deployments, but here is why that is wrong. ChromeOS Flex now includes full Microsoft Office web integration, Google Workspace, and even local Android app support through the Play Store. A Forrester research report highlighted that mid-sized businesses testing Flex saw zero compatibility issues with their core SaaS applications. Salesforce, Zoom, Slack all worked flawlessly. The hidden behavior is not a flaw. It is a feature Google has engineered a system that feels like Windows, but behaves like a fortified browser, specifically to lure in frustrated enterprise IT managers staring at fleets of unsupported PCs. Regulators and privacy advocates have watched this development with cautious approval, seeing it as a market correction rather than a new risk. The UK's Information Commissioner's Office, which has scrutinized both Microsoft and Google's data practices, noted in a 2026 statement that ChromeOS Flex minimal local data collection aligns better with data minimization principles under GDPR than Windows 11's telemetry requirements. Digital rights groups like the Electronic Frontier Foundation praised the move in their annual operating system review, pointing out that Chrome OS's automatic updates and verified boot eliminate the update fatigue that plagues Windows users. No more manual intervention, no more reboot loops from bad patches. The EFF specifically called out Microsoft's hardware requirements as creating an artificial scarcity that forces premature e-waste, while Google's approach extends device lifespans without compromising security baselines. What triggered regulatory interest was not the Flex launch itself, but the contrast it creates. EU competition authorities monitoring cloud and OS markets have cited Chrome OS Flex as evidence of healthy competition, pressuring Microsoft to justify why security features like TPM cannot be emulated in software for legacy hardware. HIPAA compliance experts have verified that Chrome OS Flex meets health data standards through its zero trust model, making it viable for clinics and hospitals ditching old Windows machines. This regulatory breathing room gives Google cover to scale aggressively. Enterprise certifications from VMware and Citrix confirm Flex works in hybrid cloud environments, addressing the exact pain point where Windows 11's restrictions hit hardest corporate IT budgets facing forced hardware refreshes. Consider a small marketing firm with 50 employees, each issued a Windows 10 laptop in 2020, now facing end of support in October. 2025, the IT manager calculates replacement costs at $75,000, money the firm does not have. With Chrome OS Flex, they wipe the drives, install Google's OS in under 30 minutes per machine, and retain full productivity through web apps. Their client contracts remain intact. No data migration nightmares, no downtime. This is not hypothetical. It is what thousands of businesses are doing right now. Or imagine a community college serving 5,000 students on donated hardware. Windows 11 incompatibility would mean $2 million in new purchases. Chrome OS Flex turns those machines into secure lab stations, with Google's Management Console handling updates and kiosk mode for exams. Students access coursework via browser. Teachers use Google Classroom seamlessly. The college saves the money for scholarships instead. For a freelance graphic designer working from home, the scenario hits personally. Their 2019 Dell XPS fails. Windows 11 checks, leaving it exposed post support. Installing Flex preserves Adobe Web Tools, client file access via Drive, and even Lightroom Cloud Sync. Battery life extends their workday. No need to finance a $1,500 upgrade. These examples illustrate the human scale. Small businesses avoid bankruptcy. Schools educate more kids. Professionals keep earning. Microsoft's barrier creates real-world pain, expired warranties, vulnerability, alerts, forced obsolescence. Google's free solution flips that into opportunity, targeting the exact 500 million users. Gartner estimates are stranded on ineligible hardware. Google's response to Microsoft's complaints has been swift and unapologetic. They expanded Chrome OS Flex certifications to cover 95% of business laptops from the last 8 years, adding auto-upgrade paths from Windows without data loss. Enterprise management via Google Endpoint Verification now rivals Microsoft Intune with free tiers for small teams. But challenges remain. While Flex boots on most hardware, Wi-Fi drivers on some older models require manual tweaks, a one-time fix documented in Google's support portal. Local printing works reliably only with Chrome-compatible devices, though cloud printing covers 90% of home setups. Storage encryption uses your Google account credentials, so strong passwords are essential. What is still broken in the broader ecosystem? Microsoft's continued refusal to relax. Windows 11 requirements leaves users choosing between insecure legacy support or Google's ecosystem. Flex does not run traditional Win32 desktop apps natively. Everything must be web or Android compatible. For niche software like certain CAD tools or legacy accounting packages, virtualization via Parallels or VMware is needed, adding complexity. Striking comparison. Microsoft's TPM insistence protects against theoretical firmware attacks that occur in less than 0.01% of breaches, while Chrome OS Flex, real-world exploit blocking, has 0 reported remote code executions since launch. Google's approach prioritizes practical security over perfect hardware mandates. Here is what you can do today, step by step. First, check your PC's eligibility. Download Google's Chrome OS Flex hardware checker from their official site. It scans your system in seconds and confirms compatibility. To install, download the Flex image, create a bootable USB with the Chromebook Recovery Utility Restart. Your PC enter BIOS by pressing F2 or Del during boot, set USB as first boot device, and follow the on-screen installer. It preserves your data if you choose the upgrade option. Disable unnecessary services, post-install, go to Settings, then Advanced, then Developers, and turn off any experimental features. In Privacy and Security Review Site Permissions, and enable enhanced safe browsing. For businesses, enroll in Google Endpoint Management free for up to 100 devices. It handles updates centrally. Advanced users verify your installation by checking Chrome://system. In the browser, it shows security status and update history. These steps take under an hour and give you years of supported computing. Your operating system choice now determines whether your hardware lives or dies prematurely. Google has offered 500 million Windows users a free lifeline, proving Microsoft's hardware walls were never about security, but control. Today, check one setting or share this video with a friend facing upgrade pressure. Comment below which you chose. Next week, how Apple's privacy pivot is forcing Google and Microsoft to scramble. The choice to stay stranded is yours alone. Make it wisely.